This is the EILLEO EB007 electric dirt bike, a compact electric mini-moto with a 3,000-watt peak brushless drive, a claimed 37.5 miles per hour top speed, and a 48 volts 20Ha battery. My honest first reaction before riding it was mixed. The small 14-inch front and 12-inch rear wheels made me wonder if it would feel like a toy, and I wasn't sure the hardware would match the power. From my experience, the first twist of the throttle cleared that up fast. The torque snaps right away, the front end lightens if you're careless with your weight, and it climbs ugly, loose hills in a gear that a hub motor e-bike would bog down in. It rides like a mini dirt bike, not a bicycle. Key features that stood out to me are the 3,000-watt peak output, the mid-drive style torque feel, the 48 volts 20Ha battery, hydraulic disc brakes at both ends, dual suspension, and those fat off-road tires that add grip and cushion. For anyone new to this, mid-drive means the motor sends power through the drivetrain, using the bike's gears to multiply torque, which helps on steep climbs and technical sections. Hydraulic brakes use fluid pressure instead of cables, which gives stronger, more controlled stopping, super important at these speeds. Dual suspension means a front fork and a rear shock working together to soak up bumps. The fat tires are wide and high volume, so they add traction and act like extra suspension. On the trail, the power delivery is instant. In my opinion, the 3,000-watt peak is very believable, especially in the low to mid-speed range where you actually need grunt. From a standstill or creeping through rocks, it's eager, almost too eager if you aren't ready. I learned to modulate the throttle more like a dirt bike than an e-bike. Smooth inputs, cover the rear brake, and keep my weight centered. The compact chassis makes tight turns easy, and the low, central battery placement helps the bike feel planted at slow speeds. At higher speeds on rough tracks, you need a steady hand. The suspension is tuned for trail comfort, not big hits. It smooths washboard, roots, and potholes fine, but I would not take this off jump faces or into repeated hard landings. Land light and pick your lines. Braking is appropriately strong. The hydraulic setup gives a clean bite without the spongy feel that cable brakes sometimes have. From my experience, hard stops on loose gravel are predictable as long as you stay balanced and let the front brake do its job without grabbing. I dialed in lever reach to fit my hand, and that improved control a lot. The digital display is simple and readable. The 3 speed modes are useful for taming power when I hand it to a newer rider, and the headlight and tail light are bright enough for dusk rides around camp. I wouldn't rely on the headlight alone for fast night riding, but it's legit for visibility. Let's talk range, because that's what everyone asks. The brand says 40 to 60 miles. From my experience at 185 pounds, riding mixed dirt with plenty of climbs and using the throttle freely, I got around 24 to 32 miles before I started getting anxious. Cruising more gently on flatter terrain put me in the mid-30s, and I can see 40+ miles if you baby it. The 48-volt, 20-amp-hour battery charges in about 6 to 7 hours with the included charger, which has been consistent for me. If you're planning a long day, the smart move is to pace yourself on the way out and keep something in reserve for the ride home. That's basic battery management, and it matters more when you're tapping into this much torque. Build feel is a mix of sturdy and budget conscious. The frame itself feels solid, the welds look fine, and the weight distribution is dialed. I did have to retorque several bolts after the first couple rides. Bar clamp, axle pinch points, and a few odds and ends around the wheel assemblies. After a sharp pothole hit, one fastener started to back out, which wasn't great, but it was easy to fix. In my opinion, a quick pre-ride inspection and a dab of thread locker on critical hardware are musts. The chain sees a lot of load with this motor. I lube it often and check tension more than I would on a lower power e-bike. The brakes have held up, and pad wear has been reasonable so far. I also keep an eye on spoke tension, especially on the rear, because the smaller wheel sees a lot of torque. On a long, steep fire road pushing hard in a high assist, I did trigger a brief power protect style reduction, basically the system defending itself under heat or current draw. It cleared after I eased off for a minute. That's normal for budget-friendly, high-power electrics and not a deal-breaker, but it's worth noting if you plan to hold full power for a long climb. I consider that part of learning the rhythm of the bike. Ergonomics lean toward accessibility. The seat height is friendly, low enough that shorter riders can flat foot and feel confident. It's perfect for teens with experience and smaller adults who want a powerful trail toy without wrestling the full-size dirt bike. I'm 5'11", and I can ride it comfortably seated or standing for short bursts. but taller riders may feel cramped during aggressive stand-up riding. The saddle is more moped style than motocross narrow, which is comfy for cruising and light trails, a bit less ideal for deep knee bends and constant stand-sit transitions. Safety and where you ride it are important. With a claimed 37.5 miles per hour top speed, this behaves like an electric motorcycle more than a bicycle. Where I live, that means private property, OHV areas, or closed courses, not bike lanes. I treat it like a moto. Full-face helmet, gloves, boots, and real protective gear, even for quick, shakedown rides. It's powerful enough that small mistakes happen fast. From my experience, customer support matters with machines like this. I reached out with a basic parts question and got a helpful, quick reply. That gave me confidence about long-term ownership, especially with a frame warranty backing the structure. I'd still recommend buyers be proactive. Learn basic wrenching, keep a torque wrench handy, and treat fasteners as consumables you might upgrade over time. It's perfect for riders who want serious torque in a small, manageable package, people who ride private land or camp trails, and anyone looking for a pit bike vibe without gas and noise. I'd recommend this for teens with supervision, who already understand throttle control and braking, and for adults who want a playful, low-maintenance way to rip around dirt without the bulk of a full-size moto. If you're a city commuter or you need something clearly street legal, this isn't the right fit. In my opinion, the 48-volt system is a reasonable choice here. Some bikes run 52 volts for a touch more punch, but 48 volts keeps charging simpler and parts easier to find. The overall performance still feels stout, and the compact chassis makes it more fun than a spec sheet suggests. The smaller wheels deliver agility and traction, with the trade-off of less high-speed stability on rough stuff. That's a fair balance for how most people will use it. In conclusion, the EILLEO EB007 hits the sweet spot between price, power, and fun, with real torque that makes climbs and tight trails exciting. It asks a bit more from the owner in maintenance and mechanical awareness, and it rewards that with a ride that feels way more moto than e-bike. If you value acceleration, easy handling, and the ability to throw it in a truck for weekend dirt time, this checks the boxes. If you expect perfect hardware or you plan to send big jumps, look elsewhere or plan on upgrading a few parts. If this video helped, please subscribe and drop your questions or experiences in the comments. Thank you for watching.